A very good evening to you. Welcome to the FKF Review Show. My name is Robinson Okenye. Now, in tonight's edition, we'll be focusing on Kagame Homeboys. Remember, Kagame Homeboys are before the suspension of sporting activities in the country, they lied 8th on the log with 21 points from 16 matches played. Now, before we get into that, of course, in studio, I'm joined by Cedric Musumba and also Rogers Eshtemi. And joining us via Zoom is Steve Ayo. Good evening, gentlemen. We want to begin tonight's show by, of course, taking a look at some of the things that have transpired over the week before delving into what, or rather how Kagame Homeboys has performed so far. Remember, we spoke to the coach, that is Nicholas Buyoti. We'll be getting to hear what he has to say. And also we spoke to Alan Wanga, one of the players at Kagame Homeboys. But gentlemen, we want to begin with what has happened over the weekend. I want to begin with you, Cedric Musumba. We saw Football Kenya Federation President come out and say that, you know what, if the league is cancelled, then probably Gor Mahia will represent Kenya in the Kagame Cup. What are your thoughts?
I doubt if the Kenya Football Federation chairman is actually communicating to us as fans what we need to hear, or it's all about him also losing hope, maybe having tried all avenues within his capacity, but he seems as if those avenues are not really yielding any fruits. But I think he needs to be in the front line trying to give hopes to those of us who are really fighting hard and ensure that at least government heed our call and allow the league to commence from where it left. The reason being, players, by halting of the league, will not have any given value to the players. Remember, these are lads who have invested heavily in sports. They depend on sports actually to pay some bills, and at the moment you halt the sports, that's not a solution that you are presenting on their table. Now the question will come of, okay, if the sport halts, where will these players go to still as in really hunting for their living? Does it mean that they will be reduced to beggar? As it stands right now, in some quarters, we will still start hearing that some of the players have started actually requesting and maybe sending some short messages asking for help here and there. Is that the kind of the state we need our sportsmen and ladies actually to venture in? A big answer to me would be no. Let's forge for a formula. Let's try to structure for all the proposals that are within our capacity. Let's try as much as we can to look for solutions that will still bring our league back. Remember, when we started doing our vaccination, that's a player being given jab,
yes,
we thought that maybe they will be given the priority so that they can come as soon as possible back to their trading ground. But and again, it has now remained a rhetoric question in our side. What is really this government thinking of? Does it mean that sports doesn't pay? Does it mean that sports doesn't help government to employ? If it's the government that really champions the subject of employment, then they should be thinking of sports, because sports has helped them, given the scenario this country has been really operating in, to the essence that it has been a third world country that has really grown to a lower middle class country, does not really give them an edge to forget and omit completely about sports.
Rogers Eshtemi, your thoughts on that before we take a look at what the Football Kenya Federation Constitution has to say about a failure to complete a league?
It is indeed a difficult moment. I can feel the pain the Federation president is going through. Definitely for him to come out and issue such a statement, maybe just like what Cedric has said, he could have tried other options and maybe feel like he's not trying to reap the fruits. But well, all are said, I feel we still have an avenue and we still need to continue pushing the government so that they can lift their suspension. Because looking at the Federation rule book, I know maybe if the teams haven't played 75% of the matches, the league will be cancelled again like last year. But unlike last year, where Gor Mahia had played, I think 75% of the matches, they were allowed to walk away with the crown. But this year, the teams haven't played midway of the first of the matches. That is, they haven't reached the midway. As we speak, the highest team that has played the highest number of matches is Tusker, Is it Tusker? Yeah,
yes,
I think Tusker with 16 matches, 1 match away from the midway. That tells you then that there shouldn't be a champion as per now, because that is as per the federation rule book, which says that
so now that you've mentioned, so let's take a look at what the federation rule book says. And of course, this is on a failure to complete a league. The federation league book says where the league format due to circumstances force majeure fails to be completed within the season, the league winner shall be determined as follows. Before each and every club has completed its first round of fixtures, the league shall be declared null and void. Now, where all the clubs in the league have completed the first round of fixtures, but less than 75% league games have been played, the table standing at the end of the first round shall be considered as the final table standing of the league. And where at least one club has played more than 75% of the league games, the following formula shall be determined at the table positions for the respective group. The total number of points earned from the number of games played multiplied by the total number of games supposed to be played divided by the number of games played. So, Rogers Ishtemi, I know we are praying and hoping that the league shall not be cancelled.
Absolutely, because it will be a very, very disappointing moment, more so for a team like Tusker, who have really invested a lot. They have given out a lot, most of the players who have played their hearts out.
Yes.
But now it reached a moment whereby you cancel the league. Maybe this was the year other team could have ended the Gor Mahia dominance. Remember, Gor Mahia have been dominating this league for a very long period, over 4 seasons or so. So many were hoping this could have been that year, because Gor Mahia have been struggling this year as we speak, because they've been blowing hot and cold. Right now, I think they're number 8 by the time the league was suspended. And Tusker, the likes of Tusker, Kariobangi Sharks, Bandari, KCB, AFC Leopards, they've been doing very well. So hopes were that if the league could have come to conclusion, and we are praying that it comes to conclusion, let's see that competitiveness of this league, because it has been all about Gor Mahia, Gor Mahia, Gor Mahia, and this was the chance. Unfortunately, maybe the coronavirus is conspiring with Kogalo. Who knows? Maybe things will just turn out maybe to be another year for them.
Don't you think it's conspiring against Kagame Homeboys? Now, Steve Ayo, of course, I've not left you out of this conversation, but I want us to talk about something else. Now, earlier in the week, we had reports suggesting, or rather saying, that FC Leopards officials were arrested at Camp Toyoyo here in Nairobi for, of course, flouting COVID-19 rules. What is your take on that?
Tough one, really. I feel for the officials, I feel for the players, I feel for everyone who's involved in the game of football, the game we all love. Because when you're playing it, that's pretty much where each and every person who is involved in the game actually gets the happiness. So it's really unfortunate that they were caught flouting the rules. But I don't know, it's happening everywhere. I see a lot of people training even in small groups, sometimes even in big groups in various parts of the country, actually. So it was just unfortunate that they were caught in there. But yeah, it just shows that people are actually desperate to just get some exercise behind their legs. And FC Leopards, obviously being such a big club, a club of reputation, obviously there has to be some spotlight put on them, and that's why they were caught. But yeah, you have to feel for the players, you have to feel for the officials as well, because this is where most of them get their livelihood. This is where most of them actually get to sweat it out and just forget about all the issues that are affecting them, either at home or in whichever setting they are in. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, I kind of feel for each and every person who's involved in the game, which has been stopped. Yeah, I feel like it's been quite too punitive, if you ask me, because there is no evidence whatsoever that players playing as a bubble, if you can say so, have been actually affecting or helping in the spread of COVID. So yeah, I hope that we are going to address this situation soon. At least we can get the players back onto the field.
Actually,
yes.
Robbie, I need to add to what Steve has said. From where I sit, I know it's not only FC Leopards who have been training. A number of these clubs, a number of even lower tier clubs, they have been training, and players are really eager to come back to the field. Why? Because this is the only avenue they can get money to pay their bills, to cater for their family, to pay their rent.
I believe you're talking about individual training.
Yeah, absolutely. Individual training, and some of them, are like Steve has said, they are training group. So this tells you these players are eager and more than eager to get back to the field, because if you have locked them out, how are they going to sustain or rather to cater for their family? Remember, unlike the first suspension, the government cushioned these players. Right now, these are forgotten lot. They are on their own. Who is catering for these people? That tells you exactly maybe this government is only there to celebrate with them when they win. But when they are not doing well, you are left on your own. We need to rethink on the strategy.
But and again,
yes, Cedric.
Again, Robbie, we need to understand that this is an employment avenue for these players that we are really looking into. And it is between their life, if at all, they don't really keep themselves fit. I don't really understand if somebody can really stop you to go and get a job that is hard to come by in a country where job opportunities are so slim. And I think what the players are doing, they are trying actually to keep themselves fit, not to lose this particular job. Because, and again, there are some player who doesn't have anything to do apart from this particular sport activity that has really given them something to smile off.
Yes.
If they don't keep themselves fit, it means by the time maybe the government allow them to come back, some they will have faded away. And I think that's what is really driving them very hard. It's just, let's treat it like an employment. It's none other than any other thing, just like any other, okay, for instance, just like how a politician, including our beloved president, will really covet to go and vie for that seat to become a president, is what these players are really just doing. They want to keep fit so that they can be on top of their game when the soccer game actually comes back to where they anticipate it to be.
And in addition to that, hold on, Arubi, again, I still have some points to give out. I think maybe some people are feeling maybe this suspension is somewhat selective. Why am I saying this? Because over the weekend, we just saw the rally going on in Naivasha. Yeah, but now the president...
That's what I wanted to pick your mind on, gentlemen.
Exactly.
I mean, from the circles that we are in, I mean, we've spoken to some, not only footballers, but also other sportsmen, and there is a feeling that, you know, we are being left out, and there are certain people that are being favored. Ishtemi.
That is the feeling across people's mind, and actually I share with them, and I pity with whoever who is thinking the same way, because you feel maybe like over the weekend we had the rally, but in the initial statement from the government, from the president, he said that all sporting activities have been suspended. Yes, we all know the value of the Safari Rally because it is returning on the World Series, on the World Circuit after a very long period. Yes, and we know what is going to bring into the country. But now the big question is, are they more favored than the other sporting events? I feel that is somehow being selective, and we need to, the minister, the CS should have at least explained to us, maybe, is there a possibility of other sporting activities to continue or rather to resume in the nearest future? Or what is the plan are they taking to ensure maybe these players are catered for? Because these players are really, really suffering. I've been in contact with the majority of them, and whatever the message they send to you, you feel really, really sad with them.
Yes, of course, that is something that we are hoping that the CS for Sports will issue a statement on. Now, gentlemen, I want us to get into the conversation that we are having this night, and it's all about Kagame Homeboys. Remember, they are 8th on the log, 21 points from 16 matches played. And before we delve much into it, let's listen to what the coach, that is Nicholas Muyoti, and Alan Wanga had to say about the situation to do with sports being suspended in the country.
Now that all sports have been closed due to the COVID-19 situation, I think it's affecting basically all sportsmen and sportswomen, and especially as for footballers, it's quite a challenge. But as much as we understand the situation, we believe that the government can come to an agreement with the federation on how we can resume football, because I think this is our livelihoods, and we are missing out on a lot, and we believe it's possible that we can do the sports as long as we do the measures that are required with the government for us to resume. As much as possible, it has affected our momentum. I think we had started winning think we had 2 consecutive matches winning, and I mean, for the players psychologically and the confidence that comes with it was very big. So, I mean, it's a setback for us, but it's also affecting all the other teams. So we just have to cope with it. I think it is sad as a coach, I think, and basically the sporting fraternity. I just maybe request, the government to look into it. This is what we do for a living, and we depend on it. And when we are not getting those allowances, those salaries are being given half, it is quite difficult for us. So I send an appeal to the government to really look into the situation about the sportsmen and sportswomen. If we can return to sports as soon as possible with the required measures put in, I think we'll be very grateful. To our fans, I think we really thank them for the patience they've been with the team. It's not been easy, but we are really still counting on their support. And when we resume, I believe we are in a position to do better, much better than how we started.
I think for footballers and for all the stakeholders in the game, no one is happy, because it comes a time when everyone wants to be entertained. People want to watch football, people want to go to stadiums, people want to celebrate when their teams win. So at the moment, like, everything is flat, and it's not a good situation. And we are praying and hoping that very soon, like, we embark on doing what we do best, so that we make our fans also happy.
Of course, that is Alan Wanga saying that, players are at the moment struggling, and they want to get back to the stadium and make the fans happy. At the moment, right now, I want us to listen to what Muyoti had to say about the team almost winning the league last season, and then the season was cancelled for them. And this season, when they were just beginning to pick up, again, the season was suspended.
Okay, it's a different season and basically different challenge from the start. I think with the COVID situation, we had some players who were tested positive, and basically it affected our start, especially the players who were coming in. They had a difficult time gelling into the team, but slowly we've been doing well. We've been coming up well, and I thank God that we had started picking. But last season, I say it was different, and I think the confidence of the team was very high. And up to coming to the time the league was stopped, my players were very confident and willing to challenge for the championship. But that was that, and that was then. So now we really need to up our game, especially that we are waiting if the second leg is going to start. I think we'll do well, especially now that we'd started picking.
The last time the league was suspended, I think Homeboys was doing very well. We were competing for the title, and we had done, like, the last, I think, like 7 or 8 games. We had like gotten the maximum points, and we were like geared to win the league. Then it was suspended. Then when it restarted, we did not start as we expected to start. Then again, when it was suspended, we had picked ourselves up, and we were going to show like people, the fans, stakeholders, and everyone that this is what is made of Homeboys.
Now, Cedric, I want to bring you into this. And Kagame Homeboys must be feeling second time unlucky.
I feel for Kagame Homeboys, given by what Alan Wanga has just alluded to, that they were geared to really chase for the league last season. Unfortunately, we were hit by COVID, and it halted everything. And again, it also communicated to me that after the league was halted, they again went to sleep. They did not continue with the training. They did not keep fit. But by the time the league was resuming, they realized their fitness was not anywhere to match those teams that they were competing in. By the time, again, they started realizing their fitness, the league again has taken another break. And that's a clear communication to any sportsmanship under the environment that we are facing, is a good communication that you need to be at top of your physical training. You need to be on top of your mentally guidance to an extent that when the league is either running or not running, you are still just doing the same exercise the similar way you used to do. I understand somebody will argue out and say, okay, sometimes you need also to give yourself a physical jab against an opponent for you to really stretch up your training prowess and see if you are really fit enough to match any other competition. Yeah, that's right. But remember, the circumstances are hitting squarely all over. Each and every team is feeling the same constant environment. You need to start training as if you are just going to face the opponent the following day. But Kakamega Homeboys, as we have said, it is unfortunate to Kakamega Homeboys to an instance that they have really been fighting hard even under their chairmanship, Shimanyula, knowing that when you rope in certain player, you will again surge to go and really align yourself to the coveted top flight league, which they really were surging on last season. But unfortunately, the circumstances has not been into their favor. You hear even the Muyoti, as in Muyoti speaking, it is a cry onto their face, to the essence that they really like to go back and try to trace their lost path. But that path is not really traceable given the circumstances they are facing, to an extent that if at all they would have been in a chance to command that particular power, as we speak right now, each and every heart of the sportsmanship, more so, I'm now referring to the Kenya Premier League. Yes. The urge is all over. These players, they are just waiting for a goal, and they will go back and start giving us the value that we are missing. And again, it's not all about the value. Remember also the fact that these are parents. These are guys who command that field as if it's their employment office. They will still love and they lack what they used to enjoy. They would like to go back. Remember, when we talk about idleness, what idle environment commands? It commands when somebody doesn't have anything actually to put, as in to make him busy. As we speak right now, the majority of players, even if they subject themselves, you cannot subject yourself to a physical test the entire 12 hours in a day. You'll find yourself, you want to rest. And when you rest, what are you doing? When you rest, either you are sleeping or finding yourself into other idle venture. And this is what we are trying to discourage and try to make this player in support that they find back their system where they used to enjoy. And that's why we are here actually pleading and trying to as in talk to all the stakeholders to forge away a formula that will find these players back to the field and trading for their, then finding the path for their career.
Steve, I want to rope you into this. I mean, the Homeboys were just beginning to find their momentum. Then all of a sudden, I think they had won 2 games back-to-back, and then all of a sudden, season suspended. And the players must be really, feeling hurt from the way they're looking at the circumstances.
Yeah, sure. 100%, Robbie. I think one of the things that the discussions that is currently happening as far as COVID is concerned is the issue of mental health. And, you really have to look at the status of these players, especially because, if you are a footballer, there are those who are normally addicted to, just going out there and sweating it out on the field, either by training or actually just going out there and playing a game. So that's a big issue, but we've been making noise since day one. I don't think the government is interested whatsoever. For them, I think sports ni mchezo. That's how football especially has always been treated in this country. There's no justification whatsoever, though you feel like the fact that we don't perform so well, either regionally or internationally, probably just makes the game a big joke to the government. That's why whenever there's this is the second time sports is just being stopped suddenly. Like you can't go out there, you can't play, you can't even train. So it's a very unfortunate situation. It's a very sad thing that keeps happening in this country. I don't know when we'll turn the tide. I don't know when this will turn around. But yeah, obviously we have to look at the sports CS and the administrators. I don't think they are doing enough really. They're interested whatsoever to ensure that the game that we all love is ongoing. So we have to deal with it. And we just have to take it on our chin, as sad as it is. The government has the knife, they have the arm. When they cut, we eat. When they don't, we stay hungry. So, yeah, it's I'm growing speechless every time I talk about how sports always gets the whip really from the government. So let's just hope that very soon, at least things will open up and the boys will get back to the pitch and play.
So we take a short break. When we come back, we'll listen to what Coach Nicholas Muyoti and Alan Wanga have to say about the direction that Kagame Homeboys will take once the league resumes, and their thoughts on the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. That will be after the break.